Hello, we are here explaining the joke. Now in color.
I watch everything on YouTube at 1.5 speed. At least. I do that because a lot of what I watch is either news, other video essays, or commentaries. Very few of these require me to dedicate all my time to them, and even fewer have any need for timing that will be ruined by this increase in speed. This is because there's a torrent of YouTube videos coming out every day, hundreds of thousands of hours every week. And like with TV shows, I want to be up to date with everything that comes out. So, as I was binging my daily YouTube feed, I thought of something. Does binge watching diminish the media we watch? Back in the day, you had to wait a whole week before watching the next episode of your favorite show. Sometimes it was just a day, but regardless, you could never watch everything at once. And remember, this was before the internet, so you had to be in front of a TV at that specific time, or else you'd miss that episode. Maybe forever. But then Netflix showed up, the holy grail of streaming, until it became bad. Suddenly, people had every show they ever wanted at the tip of their remotes. All you had to do was subscribe. And even better than that, Netflix had started pushing out original movies, and more importantly, shows. Stranger Things quickly became a fan favorite, appealing to geeks and nerds and cool kids alike. It popularized Dungeons & Dragons, included tons of 80s references to appeal to 4-year-olds, and more importantly, it came out all at once. On Friday, July 15th, 2016, 404 minutes of TV were unleashed into the world. No cliffhangers, no week-long wait, just press play and bring your bedpan. Because if you had Netflix back then, you were going to spend your entire weekend watching that show. And that business model worked. Netflix kept doing that over and 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 over. And the series never underperformed. Well, the good ones at least. So the hype of a show doesn't die when it all comes out at once. It actually seems to increase. But if the people are constantly consuming this media, more shows will have to come out to fill that weekly gap. So do those stories suffer from this? I guess it depends. While some shows like Stranger Things and Love, Death and Robots had interesting plots that hook you from the get-go, other shows like Glamorous don't have that starting punch that the other shows do. Maybe it would have had better ratings if it was drip-fed to us, week by week. But who's to say? One of Netflix's most recent pride and joy was the One Piece show. With a giant production behind it, along with one of the best stories ever written, it was sure to work. And it did. But due to the episode limitations, a lot of things had to be cut. For those who haven't watched it, One Piece is a Shonen Jump manga, so a new chapter is released every week. This constant drip feeding has been going strong since 1997, every week, aside from the occasional break. And this has managed to keep One Piece on everyone's minds, every week. But as is human nature, we freaking hate waiting. So that week-long wait, sometimes 2 weeks, was hell for most people. Enter Reddit. The official One Piece subreddit has a big post every week where people can discuss the most recent chapters, so they can talk about their favorite moments or theorize about upcoming revelations. And this is one of the most anticipated moments in that subreddit. I say one of, because there's one that is much, much more anticipated. The spoiler thread, where people see a couple paragraphs explaining what they're going to read in a couple days. Exciting, right? You're wrong if you think it isn't, because on one of the most anticipated chapters, the reveal of Luffy's Gear 5, that spoiler thread was the most popular post on Reddit that day. It generated so much hype that they had to add a disclaimer at the top of the post explaining what One Piece even is. This wouldn't have worked on a mass release, because why would you watch the spoilers for an entire season just before you watch it? There's no cliffhanger, no tension you've been hanging on to for weeks. And that's one of the few things that mass releases can't do. They can't set up A plot twist in a series is generally reserved for the start of the third act, so it can be resolved just before the climax of the season. This means that in the last month before a show ends its season, it has one of the most intense weeks ever, as people theorize for hours about every possibility, especially those that don't make sense. Those are my favorite. Take Breaking Bad, for example. In one episode, Jesse, one of the most innocent characters in the middle of this drug dealer show, is forced to kill someone. The first person he would kill. We see him point the gun, and the episode ends. Now, Breaking Bad is all about its big brain plays, so fans were expecting Jesse to get out of this through some Rube Goldberg contraption that would let him keep his innocence somehow. Then, a week went by and... well, YouTube won't allow me to show the results, but let's just say that Jesse spilled a lot of ketchup on that man. This is something that a mass release of a season can't do. The best tension they can muster lasts about as long as it takes you to pee while the next episode loads. But that was an example of good tension that was kept through the week. There are hundreds of examples of shows waiting a week to reveal a middling plot twist, so I won't even bother naming names. Also, I don't feel like looking for one. But what's an even greater sin than having a bad plot twist? What happens when you get a bad episode? Let's imagine for a second. You waited all week, cleared your schedule, and cooked your favorite dinner extra early to sit down and watch the latest episode of Avatar: The Last Airbender. The intro plays, and then...
No food? This is ridiculous! Oh, you babies can go a day without food.
And this wasn't a weekly show, which means you had to wait 2 weeks until the next episode. Not only that, the series went into a 2-month break before finishing the season. And what episode did they decide to replay over and over and over and over and over and over? Take a wild guess. But these shows created a lasting impact. The slow burn allowed the fanbase to grow stronger with each episode, even with the crappy ones. Mass releases allow for an intense surge of investment, where it spreads like wildfire as more and more people watch the series. Every piece of fan art, animation, cosplay, and funny meme are more pieces of kindling to add to the fire. This is great for new shows, especially those with original stories, as they pick up steam incredibly fast. But just as quickly as they shine, so do most end up burning to dust. This could be the reason why so many great shows end up having only a single season, as its numbers don't manage to push through the hype phase it had at the start. But still, while weekly shows do happen every so often, mostly with anime and a couple comedies, it seems that with the growth of the internet, mass releases and binge watching have come to stay. On an unrelated note, one day, while I was shopping, I found a bygone relic from ages past. A DVD. And that's when I realized something. We did binge shows back in the day. We got entire DVD cases of a series or rented a season at Blockbuster, and we spent our weekends indulging on an entire season of House or The Simpsons. Just like nowadays. But this was months after the show had come out, and the hype had normally died down at this point. But still, binge watching has in fact existed since the start. So now it begs the question, what's changed? I think it's simple. It's because they want you to consume, they want you engaged. They want you to keep watching, to make sure that you don't miss a thing. Except when you might need to buy another subscription service, or buy an extra to that subscription service. These aren't just for you to spend more money, they're for you to enjoy. so it's easier for you to watch, so you can more easily engage with others, so you can always be up to date, so you can have a better experience, so you can consume, 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 consume. You'll watch a new show every single day. You'll spread the word to everyone you know. You will consume, and you will be happy. Now watch the next video. Subscribe, like, comment, ring the bell, and don't forget to enjoy every second of it. 'Cause you'll never know how many you have left.